Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. This tutorial is all about vibe coding and I'm going to be talking about AI assistants, AI agents, and for that I'm going to be using one of the top most AI powered code editor, which is the Cursor AI editor. I've already opened one of the project in Cursor AI editor and I'm hoping that you might already been using Cursor AI editor or another AI editor. But this tutorial is not just about how to write a prompt and make modifications within the code. It's way beyond that. I'm going to be talking about the best practices, AI assistants, AI agents, connecting your front end code with the back end so that just by writing the prompt, you can make changes, fetch the data inside your database. And I'm going to be talking about all the settings that exist inside it to improve your workflow, to increase your productivity by almost 100%. So this is the website of Cursor AI editor. Without wasting time, I just want to let you know, if you don't have the Cursor editor in your computer, either you're using Mac or Windows or Linux, just click on the download button, go to the cursor.com, and it will let you download the setup for that particular operating system that you are using. And when you are trying to install the Cursor editor, it will give you different options, like whether you want to import extensions from your existing VS Code. You can hit yes. I already imported all the extension and settings from VS Code. Plus, we can add further extensions over here. If I show you my extensions over here, these are the extensions which I imported from the VS Code. Plus, after installation, we can install further extensions as well. So before Cursor editor, I used to use Superman, Kodo, AI coding agents, and few more. And these were really good. But Cursor includes a lot more things, not just code completion, not just helping me writing prompt and generate the code, but also how to create a complete folder structure of my project along with connecting it with my database with any third-party tool using Model Context Protocol. That's called MCP. Before starting, I just want to talk about few pricing plans. We have a monthly and the yearly plans. So just to let you know that I'm using this Pro plan, which is around $20 per month. But if you are just starting working on the Cursor, or if you are not working on Cursor for full time or for a lot of coding, then you can also go with this hobby free plan as well. But later on, if you think that the tokens are not enough that you need to utilize of AI, then I would suggest you to go and purchase this $20 subscription, which is per month. Okay, so I've opened up Cursor AI editor in my Mac and I have opened up this Next.js project because I'm going to be working on the files which is including in this project. Nothing much is added over here, just the default files when we create a new Next.js project and few components which are added. And I have already configured shared C and UI components in this particular project. I've not written anything like this. These are just the third party library UI components. Okay, and also this also comes along with that shared C and UI. If you have any idea about JavaScript libraries and framework, you should know how it looks like, it like package.json and all. So this is the Cursor AI editor. On the left side, you can see that we have these files and folders for the project which we are working on. And at the top, we have the different options. Search, we have this Git icon, we can have this Cursor agents icon. This is the icon for the extensions. And if we click on it, we can see all the different options that we have. In VS Code, we used to have these kinds of icons on the left side. And on the top, you can see that we have the name of this particular folder. On the top right corner, we have these icons to dock or undock any kind of sidebars or the nav bars. This is the settings that we can go with, and I will be covering all different types of settings of cursors and help you how you can configure it according to your needs. And I'll also be talking about few of the settings. If we go over here, we have a separate VS Code settings because it's built on top of VS Code, means it includes all the features of the VS Code, and along with that it has its own features of AI. That's why it is having this cursor settings options as well. So let's jump on the main AI features of the Cursor editor. Let me open one of the files. Let's say this one, right? And right now, if I click anywhere over here, let's hit enter, you will see that it is gonna show these commands, command L and command K. I'm on Mac and I have different keyboard. If you're not on Mac, you might see the different kinds of shortcuts which is showing over here. So we can open up a chat window by hitting command L, or we can generate a code snippet directly in this particular file, or ask questions about the code snippet which is already written using command K. So I'm gonna hit command K. Once I hit command K, you will see that it's going to open up this chat window. Okay, and here we can actually select different models. These are the different models that we can choose for generating any kind of code snippets for taking help. So I would suggest that these are the some advanced models like this Claude 4 Sonnet, and on the left side you can see the descriptions. For any complex kind of code, when you select and ask the questions about the hundreds of lines of the code or from the multiple files, then these kinds of models really helps. Okay, because these are not unlimited, there are some fixed tokens, and I don't want you to end up utilizing all the tokens when you select this advanced model for even short smaller tasks as well. For smaller tasks, like if you want it to help me write a function that sort an array and returns the value, this is pretty much fine. Then we can go with these kinds of models, like we can go with the GPT 3.5 or O1 mini, Gemini 2.0. These works as well, right? So for example, here I have selected this. I'm gonna go and I'm going to select this one. 4 is a bit expensive, like cost is 2x, but I can actually select Claude 3.7, and I can write a prompt over here. Write a JavaScript function that takes an array of integers, sort them, and return the sorted array. And I can actually hit enter. Before hitting enter, I can go over here and I can select these kinds of options. Edit selection. For example, I have not selected it yet, but I can select already written code and I can click on edit selection, a particular code, or I can click on edit full file, and it's going to edit the full file. Or I can ask just a question without modification. I can just ask a question. Right now I want it to generate the code, so let's click on this icon. It's going to generate this particular code, and you can see that within few seconds, maybe in 1 second, it has generated this function. And how quick is that? We don't need to go to the external chatbot like Gemini or ChatGPT to generate the codes. We can directly go over here. Now it is not yet added in my file. It is just showing that this is the code I have written. Do you want to proceed accepting it? And in the top, you can see that either I can click on reject, or I can click on the accept. Okay, or I can add a follow-up instructions that this code is fine, but I want you to write the comments as well. Or you have used the built-in sort functions, I wanted you to write your own algorithm. So this is what I can add in the follow-up instruction. I don't want to make this video too lengthy. I'm just explaining so you can try it yourself. Okay, or I can just, again, I can ask a quick question about the code that it has written. So let me actually select this one. So it is added at the place where it was actually showing, right? Now it has a very good auto completion as well. Earlier, before cursor, I used to use Super Maven, and that auto completion was quite cool. Here I can write const students, and I'm going to write, and you can see that as I'm writing, it is automatically trying to understand what I might be trying to generate. I'm not going to select this. In order to select the suggested code over here, I can hit tab button of the keyboard. Okay, but I want to actually provide it a more context, what kind of array of objects I want to generate. So let me come over here and I can write ID, and I can write name, and I can write age and grade. All right, so now I have given a context that for each object of the student, I want to have this kind of data. So now this is being added. Let me fix the format. Now the format is fixed. Now if I start writing comma, hit enter, and it's going to keep on giving me the new objects with the better values. For example, ID is incremented, age is being changed, grade is changed. So auto completion is really good as well. When we are using cursor, it has its built-in auto completion as well. It means that if we install an extension that has an auto completion just like a Super Maven, Supermaven will not be able to utilize in this particular case. The cursor is overriding the auto completion feature for that particular code, right? So I'm not gonna keep it, just I'm showing you how it works. So now I'm going to hit Command K again, and now what I can do is I can select ask a quick question, just a quick question. Explain me what is you can say class in OOP. Okay, I can ask a random question rather than going to the chat GBT. So hit enter, and it's not going to add a code snippet. It's just going to simply explain me if I'm missing anything, and it's really helpful sometimes rather than opening a browser and just writing the long prompts, and it's going to help me. One more thing is that these prompts are very small. There are very good guidelines, very good techniques, and best practices of prompt engineering that I would like you guys to learn. I have actually created a video already before this, and this is the video ChatGPT masterclass. In that particular video, in first 5 to 10 minutes, I have explained what is prompt engineering, what are the best practices to write a prompt, to give the context to the LLMs, not just the ChatGPT, but in any LLM, either we are using the Cursor, Gemini, Claude Code, anywhere we have to follow those prompt engineering best practices. I'm gonna give the link of that video in the description of this video as well. So you can check the first 5 to 10 minutes from that after this tutorial. Okay. So it has generated. I can click on cross and it's just gone, and I can hit Command K again, and rather than asking a quick question, I can edit a full file as well. It will automatically take the context of this whole file and start modifying it according to our prompt that we have actually sent. I'll come to this point, send to chat. There is a separate chat window where we can run agents. Agent means that is not be only specific working on this particular file, but the agent will be able to run through all your code base and make changes according to your prompt. Okay. So I'll come back to this part, this send to chat. Another cool thing that I can actually show you that it's not just about the prompt. We can actually give the reference of the external files as well. Either it is in the same code base or the external resources as well. And to do that, I can write the add character over here. Okay, by writing add character here, it is showing the 5 different options. One is the files. I can click on that, and here I can add the reference of any file which is showing over here. It might not be showing all the files, so we have to start writing something, the name of the file, so that the reference can be added. For example, I want to add a reference of this layout. Okay, so now when I'm going to write a prompt, I can add the reference, like as you can see the structure of my layout file. Please move the content from layout file into this page.tsx file. So it's just a random prompt. So what I'm asking is, maybe I have this layout file and I have this kind of content, and I want this toaster maybe to have to be added in page.tsx file, or I can have like another h1, and I could be asking it like move the h1 from this file and bring it over here. So it's just a reference that it should refer it to, so that it can understand what's written in the layout file, and we can add the reference of more than one file as well. If I keep writing it again, I can add the file, and I can add the reference of these different files as well. This is just about the file. So I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to write add again, and I can add the reference to a particular code snippet as well. It can be a variable, it can be a function, not just in this file, but it can be the in the other files of this particular code base. And we don't need to copy paste different code snippets or write a long prompt for adding the reference and the context. So it's automatically going to know that this is what you are referring to in the prompt, so that I can refer it this particular function in that file. Okay, so coming to back to this, and these are the docs. These are the external docs. These are the browser websites. So I've already added these docs by going to the settings. For example, I can click on add the doc and I can add a URL for that. For example, I want to write a prompt about the Next.js. So Next.js routing. So I can go over here and I can add the URL about the layouts and the pages. Okay. And I can just copy it from here and I can paste it over here, and it will actually go to the website and it's going to go through all the text, all the content that is added on this particular page, and understand first and then give you the solution according to that. How cool is that? We don't need to, add a different copy paste the content. Okay, this is what the doc says and you need to learn first. Maybe the AI is outdated with the latest content. Whatever is launched just yesterday, AI might not be getting updated. So we have to give the updated content to the AI so that it generates the updated code for you. For that reason, it's a good practice to actually add the reference to the docs, and I've already added few docs, and it will remain in all the chats. Whenever we want to select any particular doc, we can actually select this one. Okay, so let's come over here, and then we have this web, and by selecting it we are enabling it a web search feature. So either we are not giving it a particular URL of the website. According to the prompt, it is automatically will be going to the web, searching different websites for generating the content. Either it is old content or the latest content. You can say that it's just going to Google the web and see maybe 5 to 10 websites links, and go through the content, and then according to that generate the code for you or help you understand the code which you have selected. Right now this file is too small. It may not be useful to use this web feature or use those docs for this particular file. Sometimes the code structure is too complex and files are too lengthy. So for that we have to use these kinds of features. If we are afraid that it's going to generate an outdated code or maybe using the older versions of the particular technology, then we might need to let it know that go through this latest URL or go through the web search and just help me write a latest code. Okay, definition is nothing, but it's going to automatically check the nearby definitions according to the code which I'm writing. I don't use it much, but we can try and give the context about the near definitions of the code snippet. Okay, so this is about the command K. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about it, and when you are using cursor, are you able to utilize all of these features, or you are just writing a prompt and it's just going to help you. Okay, I want your feedback in the comments. Now after this, we have this terminal. One cool feature of this cursorai editor is that we have this command K to generate the command over here as well. When you are afraid or you don't need to remember the git commands, all the npm commands, all the generation, the Linux or the Unix commands that we might want to run in the terminal, then in the terminal we can also press the command K, and you can see that it is again, it is showing the command instruction, and here we can write how to push code to main branch. Okay, and we don't need to search. Obviously it is so simple git command, but sometimes the commands are so complex that we don't remember. We can directly write a prompt over here, and it is then going to sorry that if I just click on it, and it's going to simply show me this one. You need to commit your changes locally and then push it to code. Okay, add a follow-up. Which git command I need to write. Okay, and I can click on this button, and you can see that it has automatically generated a command and put it over here. How cool is that? And it's definitely gonna save our time, and we don't need to go and search the Google or the ChatGPT to generate the commands. It is not only specific to Git, it can be any command, anything related to the Linux, anything related to the npm, ng, or the Python commands, the installation of the libraries or the migration commands of the databases. It can be any commands. Let me know what you think about this as well. Now coming to the main toolbar of Cursor AI editor, you can see that I'm using command K up till now. What happens when I click on command L? Let's do that. And on the right side, you can see that it has added a completely new sidebar on the right side. And here we have the different options, and it has this AI agent support as well, which is pretty cool. And ask is just asking a question, just like we do it on the chat GPT. And I just showed you about asking a question like what are classes in object oriented programming, and similar way we can ask this question as well. And asking here doesn't mean that we can ask the questions about some particular topic. We can ask a question about a particular code in this particular file, or we can ask a question about this whole code base. So let's try that. First of all, I'll come back to the agent and I'm gonna click on this ask, and here I can select the different models. So we can go with the advanced models like the Claude Sonnet 4, or we can go with the GPT-4. So here I'm gonna ask a question. Can you tell me what this code base project is all about? Which technology is being used in this project? So I can write a long prompt giving it a context, what kind of information I'm trying to generate from it. But for now, just for tutorial, I'm gonna hit enter. This is so your message is too long. Please try again with the shortened message, fewer request items, dash items. So the thing is that I've selected this GPT-4. So I'm gonna select this Claude 4 Sonnet, and I'm gonna hit this button again. Okay, so now you can see that it started going to analyze all the files, all the folders which are included in this particular file, and it's going to give me final answer. So it's really useful when we start working on a new project which is already built. Let's say we get a project from a new client, or we have started working in a new company where project is already built, and in order to understand the project structure quickly, it's good that we select this ask mod and ask it what this folder structure is about, which technologies are being used, how to run the project, how to build the project, and all any kind of information. And you can see that it has given me these kinds of projects. This is the note taking app called Next API. Although I have not provided anything related to Node, but the thing is that it might have, yeah, you can see that it has fetched this information from here in README. That's why it might have given this kind of information over here. Okay, now other than this is that provided the different technology, the versions of those technologies, and you can see that how cool is that. I can keep on proceeding with this chat just like we do in ChatGPT, or if we want to change the topic completely, we have completed one feature using AI and we want to change the topic, then we can actually start by a new chat by clicking on this new chat icon. Okay, and we can close this other one. So now I'm gonna come to this agent mod, and I can keep on selecting this Claude 4 Sonnet, and it has this thinking mode as well. If you think that the task is too complex, require analyzing so many things, and it might need to go to the web search as well, then we can go with this advanced model and thinking model actually, but it's definitely gonna use more tokens. Yeah. So let's come over here, and we can actually ask it to do something. Let's say this is a Next.js project, and I can ask it, can you please create a new route, which is the about route, and just show a simple text. Okay, create a new route about in this Next.js 15 project inside app directory, and fill the component with basic HTML. Let's hit enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a new route. Let's see how it goes. It should be able to understand the folder structure of our Next.js project. So right now we are using, okay, so it is trying to create a new folder inside the app directory, which is about, which is fine. Let's click on run, and now you can see that it has added this folder and it should be creating a page.tsx file inside it. Okay, it is creating now. So when we write a prompt, it keeps on asking few questions. We need to allow it in order to create that. And we will have to wait for a few seconds or maybe a minute. Okay, now you can see that it has created this page.tsx file, and then it has created, according to the name of the file, it has added different HTML over here. And the agent mod is the one which is able to delete any particular file, which is able to update a particular file, or it is able to generate a new folders and files in the project. If we want to this kinds of feature, then make sure you always and select this agent option. Otherwise, if you only select the ask mod, it will not be able to generate such kind of folders and files. It will only be able to give you the answers. It will not be even be able to modify a code in a particular open file. Okay. I'm gonna remove it. It was just for giving you some kind of example. Let's start a new chat, and I'm gonna remove this particular file from the trash as well. All right, so now what we can do is we can actually ask it to create a complete project. But before moving further, I want to give you some more options. What are the different options we have over here? If I write at, you can see that there are a lot of different options over here as well. We had these options in over file specific, chatbot, or a text editor as well, but those were only 5. But here we have a lot more different options. We only had files option over here when we used to write command K and add. It is only files, but here we have files and folders. It means that we can add the folder as well as a context, as a reference, along with this prompt that we need to write. Because when we want to add a reference of tens of files, it's going to take too much time to just select file 1, file 2, file 3 within a folder. So better to select a folder rather than adding a file like it's showing the app folder. I can directly select it as a context to it, so that before generating the code, it should be able to understand what's the app folder is all about, how is it structured already. Okay. So other than this, let me write. It has a code I've already shown you. We can add a reference of a particular code snippet. We can add an external docs. Okay. Or we can add this get. If I select over here, we might be having committed and different codes. For example, in this project, we can have 10 commits in the history, and we can add our commit message. The changes which we have made in all the 10 commit messages, we can add that over here as a reference. Okay. And we can paste the chats as well. Like if I click on this history, we can see that for this particular project, we have already generated these 2 chats, and we can add it as a context in this particular prompt, so that it can go through the previous chat and understand what kind of question we have been asking, and then generate a new response according to the confusions, the problems, the questions, the context that we have been providing before in the previous chat as well. Okay. So other than this, we have the rules. I'll come back to this. This is pretty cool. Just to give you an idea, the rules are all about giving the context of your whole project. Okay. And in every prompt, we don't need to provide the instruction like what kind of technology we are using in this project, what is the folder structure, what kind of versions of these technologies, what kind of best practices coding standards that I want AI to follow in order to generate the code for me. And I can set the predefined rules for AI to follow and to know before it generates the code, before it modifies the code. So I can actually start adding the rules. I can click on that, and you can see that it has actually given me asking me to write the name of the file, and I can write coding standards, and I can hit enter. Now you can see that all the instructions are added in this dot cursor folder, and then the rules, and then the dot mdc file format, and the coding standards is the name of the file which I've already added. And we can just write different coding standards that AI needs to follow. Okay. And always apply, there are different options over here. Always apply means that I don't need to specifically ask AI to go to this MDC file and follow the instruction. Always apply means that it will always be applied, no matter which prompt it is, how many chats are there, and all. Apply it intelligently when agent decides it's relevant based upon the description. So if the coding standards, the file, and we can add more than one files as well. We can add 10 files as well. So one file can be related to the code quality, other file can be related to the naming of the files and folders, other file can be related to the commenting best practices. Okay, so we can actually we can select the always apply, it will be always applied, or we can have a manually applying as well. So if we want to manually select a particular rule file for AI, then we can add that manual file as well. Okay, right now it didn't have any MDC file, that's why it was not showing. So now if I come over here and I can click on rules, you can see that I can select a manual file. If it was not already selected always apply, if it was already always apply, then we don't need to select this coding standard. Okay, it is only required when we have this apply manually selected for this particular MDC file. Okay, apply it diligently, the description is there, you can see that, and apply to a specific file, right? And we can actually select particular extensions like this particular rule, these particular guidelines, this particular instruction AI needs to follow for only .tsx files, for only CSS files, for only JSON files. Okay, so this is how it looks good. So it's really important when you start working on a new project in Cursor, I would suggest you to set up, since this is not a real project which I'm showing you right now, so I have not rules set up already for this project. One quick tip that I want to give you guys, that in the chat I can write this one /, okay, and then if I come down you can see that it is showing generate cursor rules. So it is automatically going to understand what this project is all about, what this coding structure is all about, and it's automatically going to create 3-4 rules files, and it's really going to save our time. And if I click on generate rules and I can just hit enter, and along with that I could write a prompt as well. I want you to generate 5 rules file, I want you to generate 2 rules files. This should be the practice, but right now I have not given anything. It is automatically going to understand what this folder structure is about. So I think that is going to go to the readme file, and it's going to understand what this project is all about. Even if I did not have this readme file, still it would be able to generate those rules.mdc files as well. So let's wait for it and see how much time it's going to take and when it's going to generate all the rules files. All right, so it took 3-4 minutes to actually generate all of these different files, and you can see that I can go to the coding standard. This was the one which I created, but it has filled this up, and you can see that it has applied the always apply. It means that the coding standards are the one which needs to be applied in all the chats, because it needs to follow the coding standards whenever it try to modify the code, edit the code, create new folders and files. Okay, so you can see that over here. And when I come over here, we will see that it is showing this in the form of green. Green are the ones which it has generated or written new lines. Red are the ones which it has removed. Obviously, it has just updated the false to true. So this is why this line got removed, although the same line is written over here. And then if I come down, you can see that either we can undo it, we can actually ask it to that we don't need it, or we can keep it. We can tell it that okay, we like this part of code and we are going to keep it one by one, and we can go over here and we can do same things by clicking undo and keep over here as well. And yeah, and if I scroll down, you can see that this is returned by it, and this is showing 2. It means that there are 2 places where it has actually deleted or updated a new code. Like this one is the first and the second one is the below, so that's why it is showing keep over here or keep over here as well. Or we can select keep or undo all of these different suggestions by clicking over here. It's automatically going to keep or undo both of these suggestions. Okay, and we can go over here, and if we want to select all of these changes at once, we can do it by going to this chat box and clicking on this keep all or undo all. Okay, before clicking on this, we can select which files it actually got added. You can see over here, and we can review the changes by clicking on this one, and it's going to show all the changes of all the files in this one particular file. Okay, we can scroll down and you can see that it is showing the second file, and now it is showing the third file. So any file that it has modified as well, it's going to be shown over here as well. And then we can copy the message that it has generated over here, or we can just duplicate the chat. If we want to move this context of the chat to another chat, then we can duplicate this chat and keep this chat cleaner. We can report an issue. We can copy the request ID for the reference in the future. Okay, and here below you can see that here we have this tab, and it's showing that these rules are applied over here. And it's showing the one tab because this is the one file which is being currently opened. That's why it is showing the one tab over here. So I'm going to click on the keep all, and you can see that everything is selected and the kept, and there is no green red signs are showing over here because I've selected all. Now I can go over here, I can change the specifications when I want to run these rules or not, and I can change the file types as well. Or I can modify these rules as well. It's not possible that it's going to write the exact kind of content that I wanted it to write there. Yeah, it has saves my time up to 80 to 90%, but there can still be 5 to 10% things, extra things that I would like to add over here. For initial configuration of the project, if you want to use AI in a bigger, longer project, then it's better to set up these kinds of rules before starting using cursor and generating the code, because in every prompt I don't want to write it, okay, this is the folder structure, this is the Next.js 15 project, I'm using app directory structure or pages directory structure or what. I don't want to write it in every prompt. I just want to ask it, do this is my problem, fix it, do this, build this feature or update this feature or not, rather than giving these kinds of details. Okay, so this is about this one. Now let me write this at again. And now we have these things, terminals. If I want to add a reference of the terminal issue, for example, I'm running the project and there are some app is crashing and the terminal is showing that crashing error in the red text. Okay, then I can add the reference of the terminal tab as well. Okay, and I can add these active tabs as well. Okay, add as a reference. So these are the active tabs, and it's going to add the reference of all the open files by just adding it over here. And then I have the linter errors. If there are any kind of linter errors, then it's going to look into that and try to fix it. We can enable the web. It can actually search the internet to understand the problem and then try to fix your problem. And then recent changes, it's going to go through the recent changes that we have been making. So it's going to try to understand that, go through it, and then update you accordingly. Okay, so this is about that. And now, rather than adding this add character, I can write the / icon. Let me start a new chat so that it comes at the top. Now if I write this one, you can see that these are the different shortcuts that we can do. Generate cursor rules is the one which I've already tried, and you have already seen that I have actually clicked on it and I actually generated these kinds of files. Then I can actually reset the context. So reset context means that whatever the context which I have provided to it in this particular chat before this, it should actually reset the context and start thinking again. Okay, and then it's going to enable iterate on lengths. So this is going to check the lints errors. If I click on it, it's going to check all these again, and then according to that, it's going to apply these rules. Add open files to the context, and all the open files which are added over here will be added over here as a context to it. And some few things it has added, like this one. This is going to, if I click on it, it's going to open this window up and try to run that particular thing. I don't use this much. I try to use generate cursor rules, reset context, or add open file. These are really helpful. Other than this, you can see that there is a small image icon. So we can add images as well as a reference to it. For example, we can take a screenshot of a design that we really like. maybe it is on Figma or it is on someone else's website, then we can add the reference of the image. More than one images can be added as well in any format. And once we add this image, we can write a prompt that check the attached image and build a component following the design as shown in this image. Although I've already added these rules, but I have not gone through it. I don't know whether it is going to create this new component in a correct folder where I want it to create. So I want to explicitly want it to create this new component inside slash components slash shared folder. Right now, I don't have any image for reference to create that component, but this is your assignment. I would like you guys to try this out and let me know in the comments below whether it works or not. So it cannot be only the image of the particular design. It can be the image of the code as well for generating the code. For example, you are watching a YouTube video, you saw one code snippet, and the person who is creating that YouTube video have not provided you the code in the form of the GitHub repository. You can take a screenshot, add the screenshot of the code, and tell it that I have attached the code snippet. I want you to follow it, understand it, and build the further code on top of that. And you can add that particular code in the form of image as well. Okay, so this is how it works. And now we can see that we have covered these options, we have covered these options, and now I want to talk about different settings options as well. In order to open the cursor settings, we can click on this icon on the top right corner, and it is going to open up this settings tab. Let me actually close this sidebar. And now you can see that it has different options, and you can see that I'm using the Pro plan. And we can search the settings over here. First of all, we have the general, and on the right side we can manage our account, the subscription, the payment by clicking on this open button, and we can click on this editor settings as well. Keyboard shortcuts, import settings from VS Code. If initially during installation you forgot to import settings from VS Code, you can again click on the import. Required that you already have a VS Code currently installed in your computer and you have not removed it. We can enable or disable this dark mode as well. And then we have a privacy settings. I have selected this privacy mode because I don't want Cursor to actually take my code for improving their product. I want to keep it secret. So by enabling this privacy mode, many clients actually ask me if I'm using AI, make sure the AI extensions, AI code editors are not taking over code. So I have to enable that. So I would suggest you to enable this, and yeah. And then we can enable the notifications as well, sound. So whenever I try to write a prompt and it completes the output, then I get a sound. We can have this menu bar icon over here. We can set the or enable the notifications or disable it as well. One thing that I would like to mention here is this editor settings. If I click on that, it's going to take me to the editor settings. It's pretty much similar to the VS Code editor settings, but with some more options over here. You can go through it, right? And let's go back. And then we have this chat. So the chat that we show over here, or we can have on the sidebar, it has different settings option according to our preferences. We can set the default mode to agent or default mode to ask. I set default mode to agent according to my preference. Default location, text size, display, and all these things. And this is not something which I need to go through. I would like you guys go through these according to your preferences and update these. Then we have the tab, we have the cursor tab. So whenever it's going to generate the code, it's going to understand the context, multi-line suggestion around the cursor based on recent edits, accepts white space suggestions only. By default you might not have all these options selected, so I'm using it for a few months, so I think that I have changed few of these settings according to my preferences, so you can see and go through it according to yours. And then we have the models. All of these different models are not selected by default. Cursor keep on updating its editor. whenever new model comes in, they add that model in just few days, and we can enable these models. So whatever the model we are enabling it from here, that model will be shown in our sidebar chat box, and within the file in this chat box. Okay, the any particular model that we don't select it from here will not be able to see that over here in this chatbot or on the sidebar of the chat window. Okay, I'll come back to the MCP. It's quite cool. And then we have the rules. You can see that we have these rules which are added on this particular project that we just added, and these are the project specific rules. Okay, and we can add the global rules as well that are applicable in all kinds of projects. If you are only working in HTML CSS, then you can add these rules globally, and those rules will be followed in all the projects. Okay, but if you are working on different technologies, front end, back end, databases, Java, Python, machine learning, and all, then this is going to confuse AI. Okay, so that's why I'm not having any global rules, because I work in the different kinds of technologies. Okay, and you can add the global rules. Global rules will not be shown directly over here. It will be added in the cursor installation directory of your computer. Okay, and then we have this memories across the chats. I don't want to enable that because sometimes it get confused. So I have a lot of different styles of explaining the problem, and I wanted to generate that. But you can enable memory so that it knows what we have been discussing before as well. Yeah, and then we have the indexing, and it is by default happens. So indexing means that it automatically indexes the content, the context of the project, so that it can generate a very useful outputs. Okay, we can manually sync this, but otherwise it will be able to by default automatically sync these things. And then we have the automatically indexed any new folder within fewer than these files. We can enable these settings. It helps because 50,000 files are too much. I don't think we have might be having any project that is having more than 50,000 files, so it is able to index these files. Okay, and then we have this ignore files. This is very important. I don't want AI to actually go through, let me close this node modules, to actually be able to check my .env file. It is very important, it is very secure. I don't want AI to actually go through the actual value of the .env file. So what I can do is it has this ignore file in cursor ignore. I can click on that and it will generate this cursor ignore file over here, and here I can add .env over here. Okay, so these are the files I've added over here. Now it will not be able to go through these files and get the content that we have added in these files. So it's very important that AI should not be able to, because we don't know who have built this AI cursor editor, and we should, it's just avoiding the risk of leaking out our secret keys to the external sources. Okay, so this is it, and let me close that. And then we have these networks. We can enable these network diagnostics, HTTP compatibility. You can, according to the recommendation, I have set these kinds of settings, but you can see it yourself. And then we have this beta versions. So we have this update access default. Default is whenever the release is stable, only then I get updates. So I've enabled that. Capture project notes to automatically include in the chat context. This is what I have enabled. RPC tracer, agent window is added. Enable agent window. Note this may resource insensitive. Accept. So agent in cursor is actually runs even if you are not asking it to run. Means that I can set an agent that every day at 12 a.m. please check if my code structure is looking good or not according to the coding standard. Then every time it's going to go through this. It's very resource insensitive. I'm not using it up till now. And we have this agent window over here as well. In the nav bar, we can create new agents and it's going to actually run the agents. Okay, that's fine. Let's close that and you can try this out. Then we have this one, we have the documentation. It's going to take us to the cursor docs. And then we have this models, we have this MCP servers. This is a very important thing. MCP server is not specific to cursor. It is a general concept that's called model context protocol. Okay. So model context protocol means that we can actually allow any LLM, large language model, to be able to access third party tools to give us a better results. For example, we have a Google Docs, Excel sheet, docs sheets, and we want our cursor or ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to be able to access my Google Docs, understand what's added over there, and then generate the response. So it means that we can actually give it access to our external databases as well. For example, right now I'm having this Superbase database, okay, and this is a Postgres database. What I want cursor is to be able to know what kind of schemas I have added over here, rather than actually taking a screenshot and explaining it, writing a long prompt. It should be able to know that. Okay, so this is how we can enable external access. We can create our custom MCPs as well. So what happens is, right now I have configured these MCPs. Context 7, this is a very important MCP. This is not specific to this project. Context 7 is a very important and very cool MCP that it always ensures that the external knowledge that AI is trying to achieve or get is latest. So if I just search on Google, I'm just giving you some best MCPs quickly. I don't want to spend too much time. You can see that this is the context 7 MCP server, and this is what I have configured. And when I ask it to use MCP and go through generate this kind of code, it automatically going to see the latest part. And you can see that these are being updated few days ago, few hours ago, 1 week ago max. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So the main thing is that what I want is, in this particular project, I have this configuration already added. Okay, I don't have routes, I don't have any feature built. This is just showing home page. No feature is being built right now. No routes, no pages, just UI components of Shadsy and some libs and all. So what I want is, this is very cool. I'm going to do some vibe coding. I'm going to let cursor have access to my Superbase database. Okay. And then I want it to create a complete full stack application, including the all CRUD operation, creating a new node, editing a new deletion, updating a new node. I don't want to create a big application through vibe coding, but you can try that. You might have tried that in Lovable, Tempo Lab, or the Bolt, or Firebase Studio, but this is Cursor. So that's why I have enabled this Superbase tool, one resource enabled. Okay, so this is how I have created this new MCP that's called the Superbase. And yes, I have to give it the secret key, which I have got from this Superbase database. So it should not be able to access any kind of third party tool. I should be able to give access to it, that this is the tool you have access to, and this is the tool you have access to update, delete, or modify that. Okay, and here I have added this MCP locally in this particular project, and we can create a new MCP globally as well. So if I open up the cursor, and it has this mcp.json file, and you can see that we have this MCP servers, and this is where the one MCP starts. This is a project specific MCP. Okay, other MCPs that you were looking at are not project specific. Those are the MCPs globally. And Context 7, I'm using it for all kinds of projects. Figma, Shadsy, and I'm using it for all kinds of projects. Global means that these are accessible on this project as well. Okay, so now here you can see that we can go to the documentation of the MCP, or we can go to the cursor as well. So I'm going to give the links of all the resources. The cursor have a links of where to find how to configure a particular MCP for all the famous tools. Cursor have some pre-built defined rules link as well, where we can get the links of L. This is the real Postgres SQL database which I have got from the Superbase. Okay, I'm gonna delete this database after this tutorial, so make sure you use your own. Okay, so now I have this MCP, so I can open up the chat window, start a new chat. Now I'm going to write a prompt here. Make sure you select an agent mod and select some advanced model because we are using MCP server to actually access the content from the database. And I'm going to write a simple prompt. Are you able to use MCP Superbase and check my database schema? This is just a question. Okay. So I'm going to hit enter. And once I'm verified that it is able to access the MCP, then I'll ask it to create a full note-taking app, creating multiple components, create actions to actually add a new node, delete or update a new node. So this is what I'm gonna do. So it's gonna call a query now. Let's see. Let's run. So initially it was not able to fetch the great. The Superbase MCP server connection is working. So this is what it's going to call now. All right, let's see. Perfect. I can see Superbase database schema. I noticed that there is a custom table called nodes in public schema. Let's run it. And it is now trying to actually fetch all the columns inside it. ID, title, description, created at, updated at. Is it the one? Let's go. Let's nost, and you can see that ID, title, description, created at, updated at, archived at. So I'm able to see that it is able to now access my Superbase database. So now I don't need to provide extra information. It already knows how many columns are there, what is row level access security. So I can just stop it. And I'm going to now provide a long prompt. I've already compiled that. I don't want to spend too much time in this tutorial to write that prompt. Okay, so let me copy paste that one prompt. Great. Now I want you to create a simple note taking app. Great that you are able to access my Superbase database. Now I want you to create a simple note taking app with following details. Okay, let's paste that. Okay, notes table is already created in the database, so I'm giving it a context. Okay, let's create a simple note taking app in Next.js 15 Pro Superbase backend. Consider yourself as a expert full stack web developer and create a professional, good looking note taking app with the following details. So giving it a role is very important in prompt engineering. So I'm telling it that you being a very good experienced front end or a full stack web developer, then create this app. So it's going to ensure that the code quality is going to be really good. And this I'm just providing him the basic instructions, what are the different folder structure, although I've already created these in the rules. Since I have not verified those, that's why I actually added those details again over here. If these kinds of folder structure details are already mentioned in the rules, and explicitly we don't need to provide it again. Okay, then I'm providing it some extra context, how it should look like. It should use the shared CN components, implement note taking, and what kind of operations I want. And then I've already provided him that create a Next.js server actions folder inside this folder. And then through the event triggers from the UI, create a Superbase client directly inside the actions notes file like this one. Okay, and I've already told him that these kinds of env variables I have already created in .env file, so that it doesn't worry about that if it's created over there or not. So it's gonna take few minutes. So I'm gonna hit enter. Now it's going to start processing. It's not a matter of few seconds or minutes. It might take 5 to 10 minutes to create such kind of application. Right now in the terminal, if I run this project, you will see how it's looking like. Okay, it's looking like this. Just a home page, localhost 3000. Now I want it to create that. So I'm hoping that sometimes it may not be able to create a pretty good app. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it crashes. So it's a good practice that we divide a bigger problem into a smaller problem. Since this is a pretty small app, kind of full stack small app, but still I'm trying to vibe code and trying to create the complete app in one go. But the best practice is that when we have big projects, we have more than one database tables, like 10, 15, 20 tables, then it's not a good practice to write a one prompt to complete a full stack application. Divide the bigger problem into smaller problem, divide the different hundreds of features of that particular project, and ask AI to ask AI agent to create those features one by one. Okay, but let's see if it works or not. So I'm going to actually hit enter. Now it's gonna go and it's going to verify everything. In between, it's gonna keep on confirming few things, letting me know if it can proceed working on this part or not. Okay, so I can actually let's cancel it. Actually, perfect, your nodes table schema is verified. um, Actually, I think I shouldn't have selected that button. I should have allowed it, but let's see. Database schema is verified. It has verified the nodes table. It has verified all the columns in the nodes table. It has verified the permission. Now what it's going to do is npm add badge store. So now it's going to create a cn components. Let me verify. It is trying to add a badge. Then it is trying to add toast. It's going to add a separator, skeleton, alert dialog. So let's see. Let's run it. Okay, now it's going to run the terminal command itself, and it's going to download the shared cn UI components. Although these components were already there, it might be using these components as well. It might need to create a new component. I've not provided it a design. I've not provided it this kind of design that it needs to create. Okay, let's run it again. So now it should checking installing dependencies, npx shared cn latest add. Let me verify if the command that it's trying to run is actually correct or not. So let's go to the components docs, Next.js. Is it done? Yeah, it has created these components. Yeah, it has proceeded. So let me answer no to avoid overriding existing component skeleton. Yes. Let's try to run it. Although it have already created those, but why is it trying to reinstall these kinds of shared cn components? Perfect. Let me also check. We need to install the Supabase client package. Excellent. All required packages are already installed. So it's trying to analyze. I already having that Supabase package over here. You can see. So it's going to take some time. Let's see how much component it's going to create over here inside the component, and if it needs to create some route as well. And I wanted it to create an action notes file inside this folder. Sometimes what happens is sometimes it keep on asking same question again and again, and I have to remind AI that you have already generated this folder, just proceed and skip this particular part. Okay, so we have to help AI sometimes to analyze things. So this is how the vibe programming works. Even if we are using Lovable, Tempo Lab, Bolt, Firebase Studio, those are all the vibe coding tools online available. Replit is another one. So we have to remind those tools as well. So let's create nodes list, nodes single components in step 4. Is it creating that? Yeah, you can see that. It has created this nodes.tsx file, and it will be creating further files as well. So I'm gonna pause this recording until it completes. So I'll be back. Okay, so after almost 5 to 6 minutes, it is done creating these different files. Let me show you. So it has actually created these different files, note form, and the notes. You can see over here the code that it has written. Imagine if we had to write this much code ourselves. Now AI can actually write this code according to the instructions, then notes form, then the note. And then in the page, you can see that it has removed this particular line and added this note as well. Along with that, it has followed the best practice, adding a fallback loader as well. We have the layout, nothing is added over here, and toast were already added over here. Then we have this notes route, the different page. First of all, we have this new route inside the notes/new, and it contains the note form for creating a new note. And then we have this one, maybe for notes/id. It is for updating or deletion. And then we have the edit one. Okay, which id note we want to add it. This is what it's going to create. We have not yet tested. And then it has created this action. These are the server actions in Next.js, and it is actually calling the database operations. Node schema, this is what the schema it has generated. And then we have this one. This one. Okay, let's see if it works well or not. And what happens is this is in green. Before actually selecting it from the right side, uh, here what at the end what it's asking is the Supabase database is read only, so it's trying to run the project. So let's click on run. Although I was already running, but it tried to run that again in the terminal. And let's go. Okay, so this is how it's looking like. It's pretty cool. Let me zoom in. It's mobile responsive as well. So what I'm gonna do is create your first node, create your first node. Let's click on that. All right, it's looking pretty professional, and I can actually I add the title. This is my first node. This is the description of my first node. All right, so I can click on create node. It's saving. Next redirect. There is an error over here. What is the error? Was the error, is the error visible over here? Yes. So what happens is I can actually ask it that this is the error I'm getting while creating a new node. Thank you. This is the error I am getting while creating a new node. So you can see that this is added in the terminal as a reference. So let's hit enter. So we have to keep iterating and following up that this is the error that is occurring. So it can actually fix that. So I can see the issue. The issue you are getting is because actually behavior Next.js 15 is not the error. It's how the Next.js handles the server action redirect internally. However, the issue is form submission flow. Let's see if it's try to fix that. Meanwhile, when I submitted that, let's see the database whether it actually created that note or not. Okay, the note was created, but the exception was generated after that. Maybe updated add is null and archived were false. So node generation is working pretty fine, but the error shouldn't be there, and it should not show that toast of the error that it was showing before. Now let me update the node form. It's updating the files according to the node which I actually asked it. Once I verify all the files have been working fine and it's working perfectly fine, then I can actually select the keep, and it's going to keep all the files which it has changed. And this is how you can see over here. So let it update that. Meanwhile it is updating it, I'm gonna give you some links in the description of this video, and this is about MCP Directory. This is created by Cursor, and it includes all the different third-party tools. If we keep on scrolling down, it will keep on showing that. And with this URL we can actually see how to configure a particular tool with Cursor. For example, I just configured Supabase, so I could actually search the Supabase over here. We can actually configure the third party tool. For example, what maybe Google Ads. We can give our cursor editor to have access to see what the Google Ads contain according to my account. Okay, then if I click on it, you will see that what is MCP installation steps. So these are the steps provided by this documentation, how to configure MCP, okay, in the cursor related to Google Ads. And then I'm gonna give you this link. This contains the basic rules of all the different technology stack. We don't need to manually write these rules which we write over here. Okay, let's see what it has. I got the sound. Okay, so now it has updated these files. Let's go over here and let's refresh that. Okay, why it got messed up? Let's hard refresh it. Let me take a screenshot. This is a very good point. Uh, the UI is looking like this that I have added in the screenshot. Okay, let's see. I can see the UI is working, but it looks quite basic. The current interface shows the node, but doesn't beautiful, professionally styling. So let's run it. Let me check if the console window is working. Let me check the inspect as well so that I can get better context about this error with the cursor. npm run dev. Let's run it again. Although we are already running that, remove, and let's refresh. All right, so now you can see that it's loading fine and the UI error is gone and it's looking pretty cool. I can click on the view. Yeah, it is taken me to this view. I can archive it or just remove it, unarchive, and I can click on create a new node. Let me try creating a new node. This is, let's write second node. Let's click on create. All right, node is created, the toast is green, and we can see this good looking UI. Let's see if it's mobile responsive or not. Okay, it's mobile responsive as well. I didn't ask it to create mobile responsive design, but it still is a mobile responsive. Archive is working, delete is working. So the thing is that rather than actually spending time in this recording and letting you know that if all the functionality is working fine or not, the purpose of this tutorial was to give you an idea that like skip. I'm going to skip it and I'm going to select all these changes in front of you. So again, the purpose is to show you all the different options, all the different features, the tools available in the cursorai editor. And I have created a complete full stack project in front of you in just few minutes. And you can tell me in the comments of this video that how cool is that, how we can configure our backend database using MCP and give it access to know what information, what the database structure, the table schemas we have created in the database, so that it was able to actually create that. So let's stop it and let's click on keep all. Now all the files that it has created are actually over here. Let's run it. npm no here npm run dev. So I'm just trying and I'm just testing that if it's still working fine, and still there can be a chance that there can be some issues as well. Okay, so if there are some issues, then what we can do, we can ask and write a prompt, give it a context, what is the error, give it a screenshots. What is the error? Is there any error? Oh, it's running on 3001, so there must be another. Let me close it. Okay, so I think that 300 is already running. I need to find that, but let's try to run it on localhost 3001. So there is something gone wrong. Let's see. Let me ask it to fix the div error. I should have stopped that. There is a syntax error. Please only fix that one. Okay, it's gonna fix that for sure. If not, I can prompt it again. Or if it's just syntax error div, I think an identifier. Sometimes the writing a prompt takes more time than I go to that file and fix it that myself. Okay, then I don't always rely on writing prompt and ask it to fix it. I have to manually write the code as well and define the architecture. Okay. Okay, so error is gone. It worked fine, and it is using the shared CN component and it's working fine. So guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Let me know if you were using cursor before, were you following all of these different best practices or not? And what do you think about the cursor? Let me know if I need to cover the other code editors as well, AI powered code editors that can include the Claude code, that include the Windsurf, or that this can include the Kiro. Kiro is very being famous by Amazon because it in terms of creating documentation and the context, the Kiro is getting a lot of hype. So I'm trying to build a tutorial on the Kiro as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned and I'll be creating more videos on AI stuff, AI agents and AI code editors. Thank you so much.